Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about one of a very important and useful concept in Oracle, which is restore point. Just in case you are new here, please do like and subscribe. So, being a human, we sometimes make mistakes in our daily activities like dropping a table or deleting a wrong record in the table and many more other mistakes, right? So, as a DBA, you should be able to go back and solve any human error made to your database. So, you therefore need to configure the database and use available Oracle feature to successfully achieve that. So, here we are going to discuss about one of those features provided by Oracle, which is actually the restore point. A restore point is an alternative to point in time recovery, and it allows us to reverse all unwanted changes made on the database by actually flashing back the database to a point in the past. So talking about restore point, we have two types of restore point. We have normal restore point and guaranteed restore point. So to be able to create any restore point, your DB should be at least enabled, archive log should be enabled on your database. Either normal restore point or guaranteed restore point, both need archive log mode to be enabled on your database. So the syntax of restore point creation for normal restore point, you just hit create restore point and then you give the restore point name. That's it. And if you want to create as of SCN, okay, you just write create restore point name as of, you give the SCN number. So the SCN number is actually the system change number, which is actually a unique ID associated to any change you make in the database. Any change you perform in the database is having a unique identifier, which is the system change number. Okay, so you can create a restore point as of that system change number. Now to go back to the restore point, you need to flash back the database to restore point. You give the restore point name. Remember, to use normal restore point, you need to enable flashback. Alter database flashback on. If flashback is not enabled, you will not be able to go back to the normal restore point. And the normal restore point is being managed into the control file. It's stored in the control file. So it therefore it's therefore available there until the control file record keep time, which is 7 days. So after 7 days, your normal restore point will be deleted automatically. So you no need to do anything. It will automatically be edged out from the control file because the control file keep time by default. It's 7 days. Of course, you can change this parameter, this value, using alter system command to change it to any number of days you want. So you can update this. And one more thing, the DB flashback retention target. The DB flashback retention target is actually how long the flashback data will be kept in the fast recovery area. The more you keep the flashback, the more you can go back into the restore point. You can flash back the database. Okay, so by default here it's 1 day. After 1 day, the flashback data in the flashback log can be deleted from the fast recovery area. So you can see here the default value of this DB underscore flashback retention target, it's 1440 minute, which is actually 1 day. Okay, you can change this to 7 day or you can leave it by default. It depends on your strategy, right? So this is about the DB flashback retention. Now coming to guaranteed restore point. As I said before, the DB should be also in archive lock mode. And to create a guaranteed restore point, you need to use below command create restore point. You give restore point name, guaranteed flashback database. Okay. So when you create this restore point with guaranteed, as soon as there is a space in the fast recovery area where the flashback log can be stored, this restore point will be available for you. Okay, in case he's not able to generate a flashback log, maybe a flashback recovery area is full, it will throw an error. The database will not be able to use the database. It's like the instance will crash, and then until you add space to the fast recovery area. Okay, this is actually to preserve the or to guarantee the recovery, the flashback database. So to flashback to a guaranteed restore point, you also use flashback database to restore point. You give the restore point name. So when you create a guaranteed restore point, it will automatically start another background process, which is called recovery writer process. And the recovery writer process will be in charge of writing the flashback data into the flashback log. Okay, and this flashback log will be used later to go to flashback the database. So, and the flashback log are generated and are kept in the fast recovery area. The guaranteed restore point is not deleted automatically. You have to do it manually when it's no more required, right? So we are going to see this in my terminal. Let me show you. So here I have my existing database. Let me connect to this one. Okay, so I have my existing rack database. This is the second node. This is the second node of my database. So I will connect to ASM LSDG. Let me go to DG FRA CD Pidoa DB Pidoa DB. Okay, so here as you can see, there is no flashback. There is no flashback data directory here. But if you create here, let me open this. I will make it like this. Okay, so that you can see properly. Let me take this back. Okay, so let me come here. I will log in to the database here. First, we need to let me check if there is any available restore point. So to check if there is any restore point available in our database, we need to run select name from $v restore point. So this is actually the dynamic view that is used to manage the restore point. So if there is any restore point available, you will just query the name from $v restore point, and then you will be able to see all restore point available. So now what we'll do, we'll create one normal restore point. Create restore point, or we'll call it restore point normal. Okay, restore point created. So now if you check select name from $v restore point, you will be able to see the restore point. Let query select star from $v restore point. Okay, we will take the, let's see what we will take from this view. I'm going to show you something here. I will select the SCN warranted flashback database. Then I will select preserve name from $v restore point. Name A20 set line 200. So here you have the SCN number. This SCN actually is the SCN corresponding to our restore point. If you check the current SCN number, select current underscore SCN from $v database. This is actually the current SCN number 617564. You see, this is the SCN number corresponding to our restore point. So here you can see warranted restore point, warranted flashback database, which is no, and preserve is also no. Okay, so let's come here. Now let's check what happened. Is there any flashback directory created? Let's iPhone L. There's no flashback directory created here, right? Means there's no flashback log being generated. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create one table. Create table test normal from us. Select star from DBA underscore user. So we create normal table. Okay, let's see here what happened. Still there is no flashback log generated. Okay, so the normal restore point is not using, will not generate the flashback log, right? So now let's create a, let me see also if there is any recovery writer process created. Recovery RV WR. Okay, there is no recovery writer process created. Okay, there is no recovery writer process created. Now let's create a guaranteed restore point. Create restore point. Guaranteed flashback database. Okay, let's give the name restore point. Flashback database. Okay, So I created the warranted flashback, warranted restore point. So now let's do something. Let's check here if there is any. You see, there is a new background process here, which is created at just now. Just created new background process here. You see, aura underscore RVWR. This is actually the recovery writer process, background process, RVWR. So you see, immediately when you create the guaranteed restore point, the background process, recovery writer background process will start automatically. Okay, and if you check, select flashback underscore on from $v database. If you check now, the flashback on value is set to restore point only. Okay, we have not enabled the flashback in our database. The flashback is not enabled in our database, but when we create the restore point with guaranteed, it will automatically enable the flashback, but with the value restore point only. Okay, the normal flashback, if you enable, you will see yes here. Okay, but here it's showing restore point only, means this flashback it's available only, it was enabled for this. Okay, so now let's check the flashback log, if there is any flashback log available in our DB. I will come here. So if you check now here, ls -l, you will see here there is a flashback directory. If you go inside this flashback directory, you will see flashback log. Okay, so this flashback log was generated when we created the warranted restore point. So when you enable the warranted restore point, you create the warranted restore point, the flashback log will be generated. So in case you want to go back to that restore point, you will require all these flashback log. So these are the flashback log in the flashback directory. So if you go back and delete the restore point, so I'm here, I'm connected to my database. Let's check available restore point. So we have two restore point, one normal restore point and one warranted restore point. So I'm going to drop the warranted restore point. Okay, I'm going to drop this. So when you drop this, immediately it will drop all the flashback log. Okay, you can see there is no flashback directory anymore. The flashback directory was deleted. Okay, see here, flashback does not exist in the directory. So it was immediately removed. And now if you check again here, the flashback on here, database, disable. So there is no flashback enabled. If you explicitly enable flashback, you will see yes here. So what we can understand here is flashback guaranteed restore point will internally generate the flashback log, and then you have to drop the restore point manually. Okay, when you create the guaranteed restore point, it will not be dropped automatically, so you have to drop it manually. As soon as you have space in your fast recovery area, the warranty restore point will still available and it will be generating the flashback log. So, but in the case of normal restore point, the normal restore point will be automatically deleted when the control file record keep time will reach. So by default, the control file record keep time it's set to 7 days. if you check this parameter, the db control file keep time, you see by default is 7 days. So by default all record I kept in the control file for 7 days, but you can also update this and increase the number of days, maybe 90 days or 30 days, but the default is 7 days. So since your normal restore point is controlled by the control file, after 7 days it will be edged out. Okay, so after 7 days your normal restore point will be edged out, but this will not be the case for the guaranteed restore point. So now I have dropped the guaranteed restore point. Let's see if the background process is still there. The recovery writer background process, it's shut down also. Okay, not available. If I create again the restore point, the background process will start. Okay, you can see background process started. What time it started? At 7:57. Okay, so if you check also here, the flashback underscore on, it's set to restore point only. So now let's do one thing. Let me create a warranted restore point that I created here. Okay, what I will do, I will create table. So this is the restore point that I created. Okay, or I will do one thing. Let me drop this restore point. Let's see one of the useful let's see how to use this restore point to. So let me drop the restore point guaranteed. Okay, drop. Let me see if there is any restore point available. Okay, let me drop also normal restore point. I'll drop normal restore point also. Okay, now what I will do, I will create a table. Okay, before restore point. Okay, as select star from dba underscore user. So this is the table I created. Now let me create a restore point. Create a restore point. After restore point, after create, I will call this restore point before drop. Okay, wanted flashback database. So this is actually the restore point that I'm creating before I drop this table, right? So I have created this table, and then after the creation of the table, I created the restore point. The restore point name is before drop. Okay, now what I will do, I will drop the table before restore. Okay, I drop this table. Now normally select star from table does not exist. So what we will do, we will come back, we will flash back the database to this point and see if our table will be available after the flashback. Okay, so to flashback, what we do, we shut down immediate the database. We start up mount the database. Okay, and we flash back database to restore point before drop. Okay, we flash back the database, enter database, open, read only. Okay, I will tell you why I'm opening read only. Let's try open read only. Let's see. Database mounted, flashback done. You can see here. Database mounted, flashback done. Now let's open database item. So I open the database read only, right? Database open read only. You can see here I open the database read only, so I cannot do any insert. Now let's check if our table is there. Select star from before restore. Our table is there, right? Select count from before restore. Okay, we have 37 line. So you can see this is one of the use case of our of the restore point. So I was able in 1 minute to recover the to flashback the database to a point in time before the drop. Okay, before I drop the table. So this is actually very useful if you, in case you are planning for any critical activities. You can first take the snapshot of the database. I mean by snapshot here means the restore point of the database. Okay, you perform your activity, and then after the activity, what you do, you flash back the database to the restore point before the critical activities that we have performed. So after flashback of the database, you have to open it with reset log, or you can open read only to check if you are opening the correct time. Okay, or you can open with reset log. So now that I have opened it with read only and I have found my table available, okay, I can now open it with reset log. So to open your reset log, I show down about, okay, start of month, okay, at the database reset log. Okay, so I show down about, I start a mount, okay, my database is mounted, then I open the reset log. Now my DB will be read to write mode. Okay, I shut down the DB abort. So when you shut down abort, the next start you will do the instance recovery. Okay, so now my DB is open, read to write. Select count star from my table. Okay, what was that table? 35, 37 row. Now let's do one thing. Let's try a use case of normal recovery, normal restore point. Okay, let's check. Select name from Pidoa restore point. Okay, I will drop this restore point. I'm dropping this restore point. Okay, so I drop the restore point. Now let's create normal restore point. For that, I will check first the current SCN from Pidoa database. So I'm going to show you one of the use case where you are going to use to create the restore point, normal restore point as of SCN number. Okay, you give the SCN number. So let's come here to my PC. So here what I will do, restore point, normal restore point as of SCN. So here we have SCN 6177. Okay, so I will create with SCN, let's say 40. Okay, so an SCN number before this one, before the current SCN. So I have created a normal restore point in the past, right? Because the current SCN is 6177545, and then I'm creating the restore point as of the SCN in the past. So what I will do, I do the same thing. Let me drop now the table. I will drop the table. Where is the table? Okay, I drop this table. Okay, table drop. Now let's do one thing. Let me try to come back to this restore point. Correct? And see if my table will be available. What I do, I show down immediate. Okay, I start up mount flashback database to restore point, normal restore point, alter database, reset log. Okay, so let's see. Normally what will happen, we created the restore point, okay, and then we drop the table. This means normally we will have our table available, right? Even with the normal restore point. Let's see. You see, the reset log option is valid after an incomplete database recovery. Okay, flashback database logging is not on. Okay, you see, this is actually the problem that you face with normal restore point. This is because this normal restore point, because the flashback database is not enabled. But with guaranteed restore point, the flashback database is automatically enabled when you create the guaranteed restore point. Okay, this is what I was saying here. Flashback database, generate flashback log. Okay, so actually this will internally enable when you create a guaranteed restore point. I show you, right? Let me show you here. It will automatically enable the flashback, and it will set the flashback on to restore point only. I show you here before. When we create the warranty restore point here, it will set the flashback on to restore point only. So for the normal restore point, it will not implicitly enable the flashback log. You need to the flashback database. You need to enable the flashback database. If not, you will not be able to go back to the restore point, right? Okay, let me open Alter database. Open. Alter database open. So we need to open normally because we have not done any incomplete point in time, any point in time recovery or incomplete database recovery. Okay, we have opened the database. Now let me enable the flashback. Let me enable flashback, and we use the normal restore point. Shutdown, immediate, startup mount, alter database, flashback on, alter database open. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm stopping the database gracefully. Okay, I'm starting the database mount mode. Then I'm enabling the flashback. Flashback enable. I'm opening the database. Okay, so flashback enable. Then I'm opening the database. You see, database mounted. Flashback enable, and then I'm opening the database open. Now let's see, select flashback underscore on from Pidoa database. You see, flashback, yes. With warranted restore point, it was flashback restore point only, right? Flashback on was restore point only. We have seen up here, right? So when it was warranted restore point, it was set to restore point only. Okay, when you enable flashback, It will set to yes. So now what we'll do now, we do one thing. We create again our table. Okay. No, what we'll do now, we create the restore point and then we create our table. Let's create now the normal restore point. Where is the create restore point? Normal. Okay. No, actually, I need to delete. I will drop this restore point. Drop restore point. So it exists. Now I will create new restore point. Okay. So the problem here is I will drop this. We cannot go back to this restore point because this system change number was before we enable the flashback. Okay, we need to create another restore point after flashback enable, because flashback enable, flashback log will be generated and then we can use it to for the restore point. So I'm dropping this one. Okay, and then I will create, let me check, select current SCN from Pidoa database. Okay, from Pidoa database. Now this is the current SCN. Okay, let's check the SCN of this. Okay, this is the current SCN. What we'll do now, we create a table. No, I will first drop the restore point. Okay, the restore point is dropped. What I will do, I create the table before restore point. Select star from underscore user. Okay, this table was created before the restore point. Let's check the current SCN number. What is the current SCN number? Here it was 641. Here it's 581. Now let's do one thing. I will create a restore point with SCN. I will just add, let's say, okay, I will create with this SCN number. So remember one thing. This was the SCN number before we actually create this table, right? Okay. This is the SCN number before we actually create this table. Means what? If I come back to this restore point, normally this table will not be available, right? No, normally this table will not be available. This table is available only after this SCN number, right? So I'm creating the restore point as of SCN number before the table creation, correct? Okay, this is done. Let's check from the table name. The table is available. Okay, when this was created before the table was created after the restore point, because I'm creating the restore point as of 81. You see, 81 was the SCN number before the table creation. So now let's do one thing. Normally, if I go back to this restore point, okay, to the restore point normal, my table will not be available. Let's do that. Short immediate. Okay. Startup, mount, flashback, database, to restore point. This one. Okay. Reset log. Let's see. Let's see what will happen. So normally I'm expecting to not see this table. because my restore point is as of before the table creation, right? Okay, flashback done. Let us open the database. Database open. Guys, are you expecting to see this table or not? Me, I'm not expecting to see this table, right? Let's test. Very good. You see why this is happening? Of course, I created the table before, right? I created the table before, but I created the restore point as of the SCN before the table creation. That's why when you come back to this restore point, you will not see this table, even though the table was created after, before the restore point creation. So this is how you can effectively use this create a restore point as of SCN number. Okay. Remember, to use this, you need to enable the flashback database. You need to enable flashback, right? I enabled flashback, and then only I was able to create this restore point, normal restore point, and go back to the restore point. But with warranted restore point, it will implicitly enable the flashback. And it will enable the flashback with the flashback underscore on equal to restore point only. Okay. And if you check now, you will see that flashback log are being generated. Flashback log are generated. So with this guy, I hope you have enjoyed this session. It's going long now. I'm going to stop it here, and then maybe next time we'll talk more about the flashback, like flashback query, flashback table. We'll discuss more about other type of flashback. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you very much for watching till the end. If you like, please do subscribe to my channel if it's not yet done, and share with others. Thank you very much, and see you in the next session.